Energy digitalisation is all about a whole sector, the energy sector, embracing technology at scale.
And it's in a sector that has been very technology rich all along, but now is taking on tech and comms technology, connectivity, IT data that's being added to it. One key element is regulation. The regulators have to make sure that the right framework exists for this new technology to grow.
And I think what's so interesting is with this technology coming to the sector, we see a merging of regulation, tech and comms and energy. And as those two combine, new opportunities are being created. In the commercial landscape, we see new technology emerge because suddenly a huge market opens up. Take, for example, smart metering, which we have over the last few years in Europe seen grow enormously. The regulation enables it, the commercial side is now coming in, but there's also challenges.
Yeah, I mean, a key challenge is obviously the security part. The energy industry has always been talking about security of supply, but that was more, does the power come out of the plug? And we're all used to having power 24 hours, 7 days a week, whatever the weather, power is there. Now we're adding the cyber part to it, the additional cybersecurity risks that are being brought into it. And we don't have the option that, well, it goes off for an hour or two and we just restart the system. The electricity system has to be there all the time.
All consumers, and I mean both corporates and consumers, you and me, we can find out more about what energy are we actually using. We want that information on our phones, on our tablets, in our house. That means energy flows, but also information flows, complexity, immediately, data protection, cyber security. The other thing is about consumption. The whole generation issue is challenging us, but by having something around energy demand and the new business models that it generates, that's opening all sorts of new opportunities.
Previously, we had a couple of big power stations that produced the power and lots of consumers. Now you have the generators everywhere, and you need to manage the flows through the grid and have to make sure that actually the grids can take it. And the only way to do that, really going forward with all the changes, is doing that in a digital way. They need to be mindful of the regulatory landscape that this is developing in. You have all the cybersecurity risks, then you also have legal issues, customer relations, but there are specific energy law requirements, how you actually set up these contracts and how you do that.
And what's interesting, of course, is out of all of this, the whole energy flows that we're monitoring, we're now attaching personal data to it. It's not just the systems data that the energy sector has dealt with for years, but now there's personal data as well. So we're seeing GDPR come in, we see NIS directive, we see security around so many aspects of it that running an energy system in the digital era is so much more complex than it used to be. Now, one of the reasons why energy digitalisation is so interesting and so fascinating is because of the change it is bringing about. If you imagine energy now as a lifeline for not just heating, warming, but it's for mobility, it's for smart cities, it is for efficiency. Suddenly we find that the infrastructure that we've created for energy can actually also carry data, generate new opportunities. And it's fascinating, it's really inspiring to see people work on that. It's sometimes very difficult, but there's a lot of new things coming up.
In some areas, we don't quite know where the business is going to go. Business models are constantly being discussed, and there's a lot of opportunity both for the incumbents and the new players in the area.
I think often people see regulation as a showstopper, as a blocker, as something difficult. In energy digitalisation, I would almost argue it's the opposite. It can be a real kickstarter, a catalyst for change. Take, for example, smart metering. Without regulation, we wouldn't have the scale and the adoption that has made new technology possible.
I mean, the role of the regulator is to adjust quickly also to developments and get the balance right, not regulating things to an extent that nothing can happen, but try things out, give some freedom. If it works, well, let it go. If it doesn't work, be quick in changing the things and change the framework so that things move in the right direction. So that's where the opportunity is, and that's also where the challenge is. Because we know all the different elements that are relevant for that. I mean, we have this really very renowned IP tech and comms practice, and we have a lot of energy expertise, not only the renewables part, but also on the conventional side. And energy digitalization actually combines that.
The answer could come not so much from the energy industry, but nowadays from automotive or from pharma, where everyone is used to dealing with more and more data and how to turn it into an advantage. So I think it's a great package that Bird and Bird offers, and I think that we want to talk to people about.
I think one important element about the international approach of Bird and Bird is that it allows us to draw on expertise in different countries.
And what's so interesting is that because of renewables, of these networks, we see energy flows now between countries that we haven't seen ever before. But that means we also have to adjust to all these different regimes that people are suddenly exposed to. And actually, by working together and seeing, well, the solution can come out of Germany, it can come out of the UK, our colleagues in Singapore who are so on the ball and, for example, smart cities. The ideas can come from everywhere, but the application is across our network or our client's footprint.
Yeah.